We move now to scene 14. I titled this A Group Coming Together as the Invaders. So, okay, now a formal introduction happens. Union Jack and Ancient One introduce themselves to the All Winter Squad. Angel, who's leader of the All Winter Squad, asks them to join their team. Union Jack and Ancient One agree because they think one vampire escaped out of this battle along with Future Man and Lady Death. After Union Jack and Ancient One agree to join the All Winter Squad, Mackenzie flies out of the ocean. And I'm not speaking in hyperbole. He literally flies right out of the ocean. Lands in front of the All Winter Squad. So now we move on to scene 15. The title is The Call. A fully healed Mackenzie, who was practically dying for a little while, gets his memory back and introduces himself as the Submariner. He goes through his life story, explaining to the All Winter Squad who he is. Back at the safe house. While he's talking, someone at the safe house tells Steve he has a call. The caller is some sort of army secretary giving Steve codes. Codes that Steve knows really well from his days training under the Super Soldier program. After confirmation is made on this call, Steve is transferred to Peggy Carter. Peggy Carter informs Steve that his friend Bucky Barnes has been captured by the Winter Soldier on his last mission. So now we move on to scene 16, Cap's next move. After Steve ends the call, or puts out on the phone, he tells his friends of the All Winter Squad that he needs their help to battle Red Skull to save his friend Bucky Barnes. Angel and Union Jack, not comfortable with personal missions involving the military, says that they want to focus on Future Man, not Bucky Barnes. He's a more dangerous threat than the situation with Bucky Barnes. They didn't want any part of that. Steve counters with suggestions that Future Man and Red Skull may be in cahoots with each other because some of the vehicles he had access to, some of the equipment he used, seemed to be tied to the Red Skull's gang, Hydra, who he once investigated before he became Captain America. Ancient One suggests that we ought to check into Steve Rogers' friend being missing and any possible links Red Skull might have with Future Man and their missing vampire. Okay, so now we move on to scene 17, Army Headquarters. I title this Army Headquarters. Okay, so now we're at Army Headquarters. Steve Rogers gives his All Squad temporary access to the base, Army base. And since Peggy Carter gets a nod from Steve Rogers that they are, the All Winter Squad is Steve Rogers' friends, she begins sharing classified intel with Steve Rogers and the All Winter Squad. This intel included pics of Future Man with Red Skull, provided by the British Quartermaster Department. So basically, the Army is working together with the British Quartermaster Department for information to hunt and stop Red Skull. So with the information Peggy Carter provides on Red Skull and him being in cahoots with Future Man, everybody decides, okay, so let's turn our attention now to Red Skull and see where that leads. Ancient One asked Peggy if she had anything of personal belongings to Bucky Barnes to locate and find him, believing that finding him would allow them to intercept Red Skull. After Peggy gives Ancient One something trivial that belongs to Bucky, Ancient One, of course, uses a locator magic spell to find Bucky. Okay, so now we move on to scene 18. I title this Red Skull's Castle. Peggy acquires a plane, and she takes Cap and his team, including Howard Stark, the first, to the destination stop that is close to Red Castle. Howard Stark begins telling the team intel that his department acquired about some of the weapons Future Man has access to and how dangerous these weapons are. After the plane lands, Howard Stark gives Steve a new diamond-shaped titanium shield with additional red gloves designed to work in tandem with it. So now we move on to scene 19. I title this Battle at Castle Skull Begins. First scene we see in scene 19 is a vampire sensing that trouble is coming and runs quickly to Red Skull to tell him that his castle is about to be invaded. It's the same missing vampire that both Union Jack and Ancient One were looking for. As the All Winter Squad makes their attack on Red Skull's castle, Red Skull uses a copy he has of the Darkhold to open up a portal. When that portal opens, the All Winter Squad find themselves up against an actual big, huge, 9-headed monster called a Hydra. Cap's there leading the All Winter Squad. Well, actually, Angel's there leading the All Winter Squad along with Cap. And Cap tells teammates Human Torch 1 and Miss America to fly over above safely into the castle, over and above the Hydra monster, into the castle to find his friend Bucky, who he believes is being held captive by Red Skull. We move on to scene 20. I title this Battle Over. While the Hydra monster is spitting fire at the All Winter Squad, and the All Winter Squad retaliating behind trees and rocks to avoid being hit, the Ancient One opens up another portal, another dimensional portal. With the portal open, Cap uses his shield to protect most of his teammates from attack as they charge forward, pushing the monster into the portal. Future Man and Lady Death witnessed their monster being forced to the portal, and after they, being the All Winter Squad, successfully shove him in there and close the portal, Future Man and Lady Death leads Red Skull's Hydra agents into a counterattack against the All Winter Squad. That doesn't go well. Seeing that the battle is coming to an end and not wanting to be captured, both Future Man and Lady Death attempt to escape in a plane that's by the castle. And as they're going into what looks like a time portal, or what looks like a strange portal that could possibly be a time portal that Future Man used to arrive in the 1930s, which is where the story takes place, Ancient One hits their machine while they're going into the portal with a magic spell, causing engine malfunction. Now they make it through the portal, but their fate remains unknown. They being Future Man and Lady Death. At this point, every attack that Ancient One hits involving magic had to do with opening up portals. So when he the Ancient One, hits Future Man's ship with them in it, it distorts the portal in strange ways, suggesting that the magic spell would alter or affect the trajectory of wherever they were trying to go through the portal that Future Man was opening up and entering in with his machine. Now, we move on to scene 21. I titled this The Wrap Up. So Cap raids the prison cells of Red Skull's castle to find Bucky, but he only finds his dog tags in the hands of James Howlett, standing next to Bucky's team, the Howling Commandos, who are also there in prison. James Howlett is from Marvel Comics. He's also known as the Wolverine in most issues. Wanting to gain an upper hand in this battle that he's losing, Red Skull tries to use his copy of the Darkhold to open up the dimensional portal to turn the tide in this battle, but abandons that plan as soon as Cap starts chasing after him, demanding to find out where his friend Bucky Barnes is. Red Skull initially wanted to free Dracula out of his prison, but Captain America coming for him forced him to alter his plans, and he tries to get on a rocket and fly to safety with Cap on his tail. Captain America jumps on the rocket that Red Skull's riding, alters the original trajectory of where that rocket was intended to go, crash into some iceberg miles away in a very cold climate area. And that's how this ends. And how Steve Rogers ends up buried in ice right next to his mortal enemy, Red Skull. Now let's talk about the people that should be part of this project. I might forget some names. Forgive me if I do forget some names that should be mentioned. Let's see. Captain America, I think, should be played by Ryan Phillip. He was someone who was being considered for the real MCU in reality before it went to Chris Evans. Ryan Phillip, I think, should be Captain America. The movie I remember seeing Ryan Phillips in a long time ago was called Cruel Intentions, which I thought he did a pretty good job in. Bucky Barnes, I think Sebastian Stan should reprise his role of Bucky Barnes. He does a good job in the MCU in reality. Therefore, he should be in this as well. Peggy Carter, I think Haley Atwell does a great job as Peggy Carter, and I wouldn't mind her in my MCU as Peggy Carter. So Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, Peggy Carter, Haley Atwell, I don't mind either one of them in my MCU reprising their roles. Miss America. Now, I didn't really delve too much into Miss America because the focus here was Captain America. I just wanted to put her in my MCU because these kind of characters don't often get a lot of attention in media. The person I would like to see play Miss America, to some extent, I think actress Helen Hunt. The movie I enjoyed seeing actress Helen Hunt in, was Twister. Angel, I think should be played by Billy Zane, actor Billy Zane. The movie I enjoyed seeing him in was The Phantom. Human Torch 1. Now, Human Torch is the original one that appeared in Marvel Comics in the 1930s, with the focus on the 1930s. This is not the Human Torch of the Fantastic Four. So therefore, a very special kind of actor with a lot of experience should play this role. And I think that person should be actor George Clooney. The movie I enjoyed seeing George Clooney in is called Peacemaker. I thought he did a great job in The Peacemaker and would be excellent for the role of Human Torch 1. Toro, the kid who sneaks on the train to be part of the All Winter Squad in my story. He's also someone who doesn't really get a whole lot of attention in media. He is a Marvel comic book character. Given the youthful role of that character, I think actor Matthew Lawrence should be Toro for my MCU Captain America movie. I remember Matthew Lawrence from the television series Superhuman Samurai. And I remember enjoying that, so I think he would do fine in the role of Toro in my MCU Captain America. Namor, who finally gets revealed at the end of my MCU Captain America movie, who was Mackenzie, who was also referred to as a Submariner. I think should be played by Hollywood actor Mario Lopez. Special note, in my MCU, I would prefer that Namor not have wings on his feet. I know, it's a thing in comic books that he had wings on his feet. But it was also a thing in comic books that Captain America had wings on his cowl. And in reality, MCU, there's no wings on his cowl. Not even in the first Avenger movie, let alone the other follow-up movies. What Namor should have on his feet is small fins, flippers, fins, something fish-like. The reason why I say that is because I just personally don't like those wings. And I know it's been like that in comic books for years, Marvel comic books for years, but I think Namor should get upgraded to having fins, flippers, fins, like fish, on his feet. Mario Lopez as Namor is my choice. The television series that I enjoy watching him play and perform was Pacific Blue, the TV series. Whistler. Didn't really delve too much in that character in my Captain America MCU. He was a fascinating character to read in Marvel comic books. He's part of that 1930s era where Captain America came from. He's known for moving very fast. Therefore, I think the Hollywood actor who should play him is Matt Smith. The movie I enjoyed seeing Matt Smith in was in Terminator 5. Blonde Phantom, another member of the All-Winter Squad. Interesting character for Marvel Comics. I think the Hollywood actress who should play Blonde Phantom is Cameron Diaz. Movie I enjoyed seeing Cameron Diaz in for the first time when I saw her in Hollywood movies. The movie I liked her in was The Mask. Up until this point, I've been doing a lot of my MCU projects to give everyone a sense of how I would like to have seen the MCU unfold. And from the year I've started, which is 2000 for this project, or the starting point I established, the year 2000 until now, has been very random, and it hasn't been very well planned. And I plan to change that starting with the next entry. The next entry on this list is going to be Iron Man. And before I present my story for Iron Man, or what I would prefer how my MCU Iron Man to be, I'm going to have outline prepared for this phase 2, which is something I haven't done for phase 2. I only established phase 2 is what I want to go into, and it's just been a bunch of random Marvel characters that I've introduced. That will change prior to my MCU Iron Man. That's it for my MCU Captain America. Till next time.